On Wednesday, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful broke the news that Toni Storm was gone from WWE, only days after wrestling Charlotte Flair for the Smackdown Women's title on Christmas Eve. Not that she had been released, only that she had left the company. And we have since learned that she quit. She walked out. She quite literally took her ball and flew herself home. This was said to be a decision that she made on her own without telling anybody. She flew herself home from Baltimore the morning after she took part in a triple threat match against Charlotte and Sasha Banks at a live event in Washington, D.C. Another story going around, per The Observer, is that she was never booked for D.C., and it was a last-minute thing with her being told at 8 o'clock that morning that she would be needed there. And professional burnout is another reason that has been cited for her leaving. She has not commented on this publicly, so until she does, we don't know for sure 100%, but that is the story going around. Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net said that he asked around and said that it was told to him she just up and quit, worked the triple threat, and then paid out of her own pocket to fly herself home, which I don't know why that would even be relevant. If she quit and she chose to go home, I'm not sure why WWE would be responsible for paying her way, if that's sort of the inference there. But one female WWE talent said, "It's fucking wild. She's just gone. Didn't really tell anyone." Her quitting the way that she did, I assume that means she'll be held to the same 90-day non-compete as every other main roster member who leaves or gets released before their contract is up. But we don't know for sure. You know, it's not as if they haven't played games with people before. They could do the same here if she tries to go somewhere else and they say that she still has time on her contract. We just don't have all the details right now. We don't know. We don't know what we don't know. What we do know is that Toni Storm had every right to be upset with the way that she has been booked ever since she got called up back in July. And I say that despite the fact that this woman was challenging for the championship on TV 9 days ago. I'm well aware of the fact that she was on television wrestling for the Smackdown Women's Championship 9 days ago. That does not excuse everything that came before it. And now, the lasting image of Toni Storm on WWE television will be her after losing, sitting in the ring and crying. July 23rd. July 23rd. That is the day that Toni Storm made her Smackdown debut with a win over Zelina Vega. And then we didn't see her again until September. She did an interview with Ryan Satin that dropped 2 days before she walked out on the company. 2 days! 48 hours! Before all of this happened, this interview came out. Sit-down interview on YouTube. Talking about how sitting backstage and catering during that time, what a mindfuck it was. She didn't use those words, but basically that's what she was saying, what a mindfuck it was. To just sit there waiting for something, waiting for any kind of guidance, waiting for her big break, waiting to show the world what she's worked her entire life for, and not having any idea what was going on because nobody was telling her anything. So then she finally reappears, not for a match, but for an angle where Dolph Ziggler was hitting on her in the back. That too went nowhere. Then she lost to Zelina Vega in 2 minutes in the opening round of the Queen's Crown. And then they programmed her with Charlotte Flair. And we all know how that went. She took 2 pies to the face, uncontested. Just stood there and did nothing about it but pout. 2 pies to the face. Then she pied Charlotte in the face. This is how they built up this SmackDown Women's Championship match, by the way, for Christmas Eve, the one that Toni lost. By having a pie-throwing contest. This is how they built this match up. Now, she lost, and she had no reason to win anyway. I didn't expect her to win, and she didn't deserve to win. What did she do up to that point that would have made anybody think she would actually win the championship? But she lost, and then she sat in the ring and she cried about it. And her standing there with pie frosting all over her face will now define her entire WWE main roster run. Like Karrion Kross in that stupid mask. When people think about what they did to Karrion Kross on Monday Night Raw, and they think, what image comes to mind? When you think of Karrion Kross and his run on the main roster, I guarantee you the majority of people are going to think of that stupid mask. That ridiculous mask. And when people think of Toni Storm, they're going to, in their mind, they're going to have that image of her with the white frosting all over her face, with the little pouty look on her face. You can make a whole wall of shame with all of these people and a lot of the NXT call-ups who have come up and gotten their legs cut off and their balls cut off and then inevitably get released or they quit. Whatever happens, they leave the company. You could put their pictures up on a wall. It's like, some of these police shows, these cop shows where they have the board and they pin up the photos of the different suspects and everything. You can put a whole wall of headshots up with all of these different images of all these people. Keith Lee in the gear with the fucking cat claws, bear claw, roar, roar, bear claw. Like, you can have all these images. Toni Storm is now up on the wall. She's up on the wall of shame in WWE. Now, by all accounts, she is the one who asked for her release, not the other way around. We still don't know if there's anything else that may be going on in her personal life that factored into her decision. Maybe it's more than just burnout. But the fact is, if Toni Storm is in a good place in her life mentally, if she's in a good place in her career with how things are going in WWE, if she's happy, then she doesn't just up and leave. If the brain trust in that company isn't brain damaged, then this does not happen. This ain't the first time, and this damn sure won't be the last time that an NXT star has their legs cut out from under them on their maiden voyage to Looney Land. And I said this on Wednesday, if you honestly believe that WWE did right by this woman in those 5 months since she was called up, you are a clueless idiot. You are a stooge. Mo, Larry, Curly, and you. I applaud her. WWE fired 80 talents last year. This time, she didn't give them the chance. Because it was inevitable that that's likely what would have ended up happening to her this year anyway. They fired over 80 people last year on that roster. She did not even give them the chance. She turned around and fired them. She wished them well in their future endeavors. Good for her. Now, legally, things may get a little dicey. If she wants to go wrestle somewhere else and WWE says, hey, you breached your contract, you still have to fulfill your obligations to us, that then gets into the whole independent contractor debate. I don't know that that's a fight that she wants to take on herself. I'm very curious if she was actually granted her release or not. I still see a lot of very wishy-washy language on, did she get her release after asking for it? Did she even ask for it? Doesn't sound like she even asked for it. We still don't know for sure exactly what her official status is. Or do they end up working things out and she comes crawling back because they're not going to allow her to go work for AEW or some other promotion because she has however much time left on her contract. It could be months, it could be years. We don't know. Because when you sign a contract, you are agreeing to work for them for a set period of time. But we just heard story after story in 2020 and 2021 of wrestlers signing 3-year deals, 5-year deals with WWE, and then 6 months later, they're cut. All the power is in their hands. The talent has none. So that when a certain talent turns to them and says, I'm out of here, either this is too damaging to my career, or I just can't handle the travel and the stress, or, being away from my fiance because, she's engaged to Juice Robinson. Whatever it is, when that happens, I don't have any sympathy for WWE at all. And I hope she isn't gone for long and she goes somewhere that allows her to be Toni Storm. And not their version of what they want Toni Storm to be. The woman is 26 years old. She's got all the tools to be a major star wherever she lands. If that does happen to be AEW, the timing could not be any better with them introducing a second women's championship. They're literally crowning a second women's champion in a matter of days. The timing could not be any better if she was to pop up on their show in the next 6 months. Wherever she goes, I guarantee you one thing. I guarantee you that she will be treated with more respect than WWE gave her over these last 5 months.